What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TV Toycast YouTube channel and another edition of What's on the Pegs. Of course, this is episode 19 coming at you. That means 19 consecutive weeks I've been doing this show. Quite a long time. Definitely proud of myself for that one. And of course, if it's the first time checking out What's on the Pegs or even the TV Toycast YouTube channel itself, I appreciate you stopping on by. I'd appreciate a subscribe and all that good stuff, and of course, telling a couple of people that does help the channel grow. Once we get to 100 subscribers, there will be a giveaway. Very excited about all that. Of course, I do 3 unboxing videos every single week with amongst a wide variety of toys, from comic book related toys to wrestling figures to Marvel to DC. Well, I said comic book related. I guess that's the same thing. G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and even some independent toys, all things kind of in between. So check out all my videos. Some new and fun stuff always popping in on the channel. New videos dropping as far as unboxings every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And of course, this is episode 19 of What's on the Pegs, like I said earlier. And we're starting off with a fun one. Speaking of DC toys, how about the what was it called? The Fight of the Frozen? What was this line called? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. But Fighting the Frozen, I think that was the line. And it was a DC Direct line. It was kind of part of the multiverse, but not quite. And it was 4 figures. They did Batman, Mr. Freeze, Robin, and this one, of course, Batgirl. $20 takes us home. Not terrible. I do have all of these except Mr. Freeze. I plan to unbox them on the channel. Initially, when I first saw him, I was like, who needs that? But the more I looked at him, I'm like, okay, that's freaking awesome. And that, to me, is sometimes what's fun about comic book toys. If you can get something that's a little bit off the beaten path, it's unique, it's fun, it's different. It's like, ooh, I need to get that. And that's exactly what these were. I'm hoping to get that Mr. Freeze at some point, but I do have Batman, Robin, and Batgirl to unbox, so those will be coming at some point. Again, part of DC Direct and the Page Punchers, but it's kind of all the same thing. I believe that is a comic book it comes with, which is kind of cool. I don't know if that's an exclusive comic book. That would be really fun if that's what it was, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But again, very, very cool stuff, unique, different, and fun, and that to me is what makes a fun toy, ultimately. Some interesting stuff here. We got the Squadron Supreme. Looks like it is Nighthawk in the Blur. Lesser known characters, I think $28 on that. Not a terrible deal for 2 figures. But I really want to talk about that Maximum Series Spider-Man. What do you guys think about that? This is, of course, at a it's a vintage toy shop, but he does get a lot of new stuff in. And he has this one. He also has that new Hulk figure. And they're doing Deadpool now as well, as of this recording. He's got this marked $53.99, so not the cheapest figures in the world. To me, it's kind of like Elites and Ultimates as far as WWE figures are concerned. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. It's a little bit more expensive, but when it's like double the price, I question if that's worth it. At least to me. Like, I get there's a lot of articulation, there's multiple heads, there's all these accessories, but is it double the price worth it? To me, it's not. But I could also see this being like your end-all, be-all Spider-Man figure. Like, you don't need any more, this is the perfect one. I do get that as well. I think I'm a little bit more bang for your buck type of guy. I like all the extra hands, but again, I've talked about it before. With accessories like that, it's so easy to lose them, and you can't use them all at once, so it's like, I don't know. If I found a Marvel Legends Spider-Man and it was $20, I would be much more apt to buy that than this. But it is cool, so I guess your mileage may vary as far as that is concerned. But let me know in the comments down below if you're into the Maximum series. A little too expensive for me, but it is cool. I saw this at Target. I thought this was really, really cool. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is from Playmates Toys. It is the 1988 remastered 6-pack. Of course, you got all 4 Turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael, along with Splinter and Shredder. They have updated articulation, so they're a little bit more movable than the original Playmates figures. Playmates did release a Lash Ronin figure several years ago that had updated articulation, and I remember thinking, like, this is a home run. Why aren't they doing more of this? Like, give us new, fresh characters, fresh looks. Like, NECA's doing a ton of Lash Ronin figures. Like, why aren't they doing that? Playmates is always a weird one to me because I feel like they have so much money to be made there. Releasing these type of figures, or even the classic figures that they release, but what if you did new characters? I think that would be so awesome to do, and I think a lot of Turtles fans would pick up new characters if they did a couple of new ones or they did something different. I think people would be all about it, but they tend to save that for the more kid-based lines, which I don't really understand. I don't feel like those are setting anyone's world on fire, but again, sometimes it's hard to differentiate what your target is, whether it's the kids or the adults. And I think something like this, you can appease both, but you have to you have to make it enticing. And this is great, but I would like to see more of it. And I think with Playmates, oftentimes you want to dive into something, but you're nervous because you're like, I'll buy this, and they're never going to release anything else. And then it's just kind of a disappointment. So I guess we'll see what happens. But let's see. On to the next picture here. Some new AEW figures, always interesting. Kill Switch. I believe this is the first time he's ever been dubbed Kill Switch with kind of the new colors. It's the pay-per-view edition. If you missed Luchasaurus, perfect way to get him here because not a lot of figures for him, oddly enough. I think he didn't debut till Series 5, which I thought was odd. I figured he'd be a lock for like Series 2. And then they had the ringside exclusive 2-pack with him and Jungle Boy, but really that's it. And then we got a pay-per-view edition of Orange Cassidy there. So, again, Orange Cassidy's had several. Not a lot for Kill Switch / Luchasaurus, which I must say is shocking. I feel like the Jazzwares line has really dropped down in value, at least for me, where I don't feel like there's as much there as there used to be. They're cool, and they're putting some cool figures out, but I don't know. I don't really feel like I have the same drive to get them all as I did at one point. But, again, your mileage may vary there. Some new interesting Transformers. We got a Cyberglow Megatron. He looks like he's deluxe class, Earth Spark, and then we got a quick change Cyberworld Transformers Snarl from the Dinobots. That's probably more of a kid base. These actually both look kind of kid based, but not bad. I guess if you needed a Megatron in deluxe scale, this would be the way to go. Transformers are always interesting because they move quickly, and if there's certain ones you want, good chance you may not see it if you wait. So they are cool, but I don't know. Like I like collecting them, but I kind of go in and out of that fandom and that phase. Like, I got that Crosscut unbox the other day, and it was awesome, but there's sometimes they're so hard to find. I'm like, I don't know. But again, what are you going to do? Marvel statues. Of course, these are come from McFarlane Toys. I recently unboxed my first statue. It was actually from The Office, which was really cool. And these are great. Spider-Man here, a couple of different versions. We got definitely the McFarlane version over there on the left, which is great. And then from the Amazing Spider-Man from way back in the day, more of a brighter blue. But these are excellent. $30, I think, takes these home. I think they're fun. They also come with a trading card, which is excellent. But again, they're going to be a shelf killer too, and I think that unfortunately is not my favorite thing. So, but again, they are cool. It's one of those things you kind of have to pick and choose with this stuff sometimes because it's so easy to get too many different things, as it were. Some Masters of the Universe. I recently unboxed. I don't think it's aired yet, but I did unbox a Masterverse figure recently. Here we got the new Eternia Flying Fists He-Man, and we've got Fisto. Man, I love these Masterverse figures. I was kind of all in, but then they were based off Revelation, and I didn't really care for that cartoon so much, and so I kind of got out, and now we're seeing more of the new Eternia popping in, and I really like these a lot. But I was kind of like, I'm done with Masterverse. I'm just doing Origins. But now I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. And now I'm kind of having to go back and try to recollect some of the ones that I missed because these are really, really good. Especially with this new packaging. I love this packaging. I hope they don't change it because it looks phenomenal. Love the artwork. The figures look amazing. 30 points of articulation. And I think it's really cool to get like a modern scale He-Man line. So I've heard rumor that when they bring back DC, they might do this scale. And if that's the case, that is going to be a home run for sure because that will be enough, I think, to get people to be like, okay, yeah, I've got all this McFarlane, but you know what? I'm going to jump back in on DC because why not? It's the Dudley Boys. I was recently at a Comic-Con here in town, and they had a packaged mint-on card Bubba Ray Dudley. This was insane to see because I haven't seen these in so long. Of course, $35 takes this guy home. Looks like he's got a couple of weapons. It looks like it's a baseball bat and a 2x4, which is always cool. Very reminiscent of ECW. I always love the packaging on these. So fun. Of course, this was at clearance at Dollar General at one point for $3, which is crazy to think. These ECW figures were awesome. They really hit at a time when it was like so cool to see new stuff. And, of course, Bubba Ray Dudley was actually one of the first two I got. I got him and Lance Storm. Those are the only two they had at the Toys R Us I was at. Loved them. Thought they were great. Ended up getting the whole collection of these. But, man, these were so cool. At one point, Rush Collectibles was going to bring back this style, and that I think he kind of put a halt on that. But I would love to see it returned by somebody because this style was excellent. And if we were able to get a continuation, I think that would be absolutely phenomenal. The Laughing Man Joker, or the Pirate Joker. How cool is this? The Legends of Batman line was so much fun. To me, it was ahead of its time for when it was. Of course, you got a trading card there. These came out from Kenner. I just thought this was amazing. A pirate version of Joker. They also did a pirate Batman and Two-Face 2-pack, I believe. But like this was just so fun. It was so unique and different. It was like I would love to see McFarlane or Mattel when they take back over do something like this, just like as a one-off. Like why not do a Pirate Joker? Like stuff like that is cool, and it really does make going back and seeing these old figures like that's fun. That's why you're into it, and that's what got me into collecting in the first place. So I think it's cool stuff. So very very cool. And then of course from X-Men we got the Phoenix Saga series. Looks like this was $7.99 at one point at KB Toys, and then marked down 3 for $10. Now you can get it for $8 again. We got Warstar. I don't have this guy. I don't remember this one at all. Obviously, these come with the official trading cards, which are awesome. Always love those. Love that packaging there. That's not the classic X-Men packaging that I remember, but it looks really cool. That classic Marvel Comics logo, so cool. And a surprise attack team. There's a little Warstar. I don't know the character, so I don't really know what that represents. But anytime I see a vintage Toy Biz Marvel figure, I'm always intrigued. I'm always like, ooh, that's really cool. So they made a lot of them back in the day, so that always made them really fun to me. Terminator 2 Judgment Day, man. These figures were awesome back in the day, were they not? Like you could actually, if I remember right, you could pull this face piece down to reveal the skeleton. I think that's how that worked. I had one that had the interchangeable arms. So it was Arnold, and he had like 3 interchangeable arms. One was like a human arm with like battle damage. One was just straight up a robot, and I think one had a big claw on it, maybe. Very very cool stuff. So $18 takes us home. That's pretty cool if you ask me. And then finally, how weird is this one? Gomez from the Addams Family. Squeeze his legs, and Gomez thrusts his arms out and waves his sword. Oh my gosh, this is wild from Playmates. $20 takes this guy home. Not terrible based on the time frame and stuff, but just so unique. That's what was funny about 80s and 90s figures, is they kind of made everything. And so you'll see something like this, you're like, wow, they made Addams Family figures based off a cartoon? Of course they did. Why wouldn't they? Because they made video games, they made all that stuff. They had Addams Family movies, all that stuff was happening back in that time. It was just it was a wild time for sure. But again, I think that's what made toys so fun back then, because you really didn't know what you were going to see when you walked into a store. You might see something like this and be like, oh wow, the Addams Family, like I never would have guessed that. So very very cool to see that for sure. And then, of course, Daniel Cross sent me this. I had to show it. Again, at Toy Vomit, it is a WCW original San Francisco toy makers. It is Brian Knobs of the Nasty Boys. $20 takes us home still. MOC, of course, it was a 1.3 for 10 there. This is kind of cool and also interesting because Brian Knobs and his partner Jerry Sags are going to be in the new Big Rubber Guys line, which is currently up for pre-order. You can pick that up right now at collectmajor.com. So, very, very cool stuff. I thought these were fun back in the day. And they definitely gave me the LJN vibes until I took them home. Because I remember getting Hogan and Sting and just being like, these are awesome. And then like putting them next to my LJNs, they're like, oh, they're way too small. Not way too small, but they didn't, scale-wise, they didn't match up. And that was a big problem for me. But I feel like Major's done a much better job of matching up scale. The new LJNs from Mattel look like they've also matched up in scale. So I think that is definitely a vast improvement. This is cool, but an easy pass for me if I were to see it. But it is cool to see out on the pegs, right? I mean, it's always kind of fun when you see stuff like that for sure. But yeah, Brian Knobs from the original San Francisco toy makers. Pretty wild stuff. But that's what I've been finding on my toy hunts this week. Let me know what you found. Drop them in the comments down below or hit me up at TB Toycast. Send me pictures and I could possibly put it in a future episode of What's on the Pegs. And then, of course, check out my other unboxing videos. 3 unboxing videos every single week. This past week, on Monday, I unboxed Kevin Malone from the Office Movie Maniacs line. Super, super fun from McFarlane Toys there. On Wednesday, I unboxed Mike Awesome from Zombie Sailor Toys Heels and Faces line. Very cool to get Mike Awesome in 2025. And then on Friday, I unboxed Geldor from the Mattel Masters of the Universe Origins line. It's really, really fun. So check all of those out as well. And then, of course, check out the TB Toycast podcast, dropping every Thursday. And then also on the YouTube channel, I forgot to mention, Tales of the Toy Box, new episodes dropping every month. Right now, episode 4 is currently available, which is all about Toy Biz X-Men Series 1. So check that out as well. Thank you guys very much for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.